Our final presenter today is Justin Greco, who will be discussing workforce for ArcGIS. Maps have always been a passion of Justin's and led him to discover GIS while attending Penn State. Having found what an established and recognized GIS program the university had, Justin switched his major to geography. He has been a GIS professional for the past 16 years, starting off as a GIS technician focusing on property mapping, then as a GIS analyst working on utility inventories for an engineering firm, and finally becoming a web developer with a focus in web mapping at the city of Raleigh. So let's welcome Justin.
Okay. Is it okay if I put the off the podium, or is it okay if I put that from the podium, or?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, do whatever you need to. Yeah, you're the last ones. You get to. Let's sit up there.
So I'll be talking about how the city of Raleigh is using workforce for ArcGIS and how we configure it to meet the city's needs. So what is workforce? I think Matt did a pretty good explanation of it. It's Esri's mobile worker coordination app. Assignments can be given out by dispatchers to your field workers. It has a native iOS and Android app, and then it has a web app that you use in the office that runs in the browser for the dispatchers. And it integrates with and requires ArcGIS Online and no additional licensing for it. You don't need a separate license for workforce. So basically how it works is work is assigned by your dispatcher in the office on the left, and then the workers see it on their iPhone, and then they report status back to the office. These are some of the benefits of using workforce. One thing that really caught our attention was real-time awareness, which I'll explain why that was important to us. So who in the city uses workforce? Actually, none of these departments were the first ones I thought of, but there's a good reason why. They all use CityWorks, and we approached one group with this, but the immediate response was, oh, well, we need it to go back into CityWorks. So we weren't ready for an integration like that. So who does use it? Development services. They have building inspectors and streetcut inspectors. And they do not use CityWorks. They have their own land management database called IRIS, which will be EnerGov soon. So buildings inspections were the first ones to come to us with this idea. And their goal was to give real-time updates to developers who scheduled inspections. And they wanted to their initial thought was to use AVL, which is vehicle locations, and run that through GeoEvent and use that kind of as the trigger of when an assignment was started and when an assignment was completed. But after doing some testing, we kind of realized that wasn't going to be a good solution. A few factors to consider is a vehicle leaving, just because it left an inspection site doesn't mean they actually completed the inspection. And sometimes the vehicles didn't park close enough to the so that they're inside the geofence that didn't trigger anything. So then I thought of workforce. So the start and completion of the inspection is actually triggered by the inspector in the field. So he's the one that knows when he's started and when he's done. One concern what they had originally was trusting the inspectors to update the status, to remember to do that. But after doing some testing, they weren't too worried about that. And then also it could actually replace using AVL, since the inspector's phone is constantly giving a location out, and Workforce can even store those locations for you. So the standard workflow in Workforce is for the dispatcher to create an assignment right inside of Workforce. However, this wasn't going to work for inspections. Inspections go into our IRIS database by staff enters that, and we didn't want them to have to enter it into there and then into Workforce. So we developed a process. So when you get Workforce, it pretty much creates a feature layers for you, a feature layer for assignments. So what we did is we pulled in from our IRIS database, which is in the bottom left corner, through a Python script. And what that Python script did was geocode based on the address, and we're actually getting 100% match on that geocode since we're going against our address points, which are in IRIS. And then we mapped to the workforce schema, and then it was available through Workforce on the phone and tablet. So here's this is the schema. It's actually pretty simple. To get the data in, we just had to assign the worker ID, which is actually the object ID of the worker in the workers table. And then we also had to give it an assignment status of assigned. This is just a quick picture of what the dispatcher view looks like. And this is a quick demo just to show you kind of what they were expecting. So here, someone's going to enter an address. I'm actually just going to clip through this. So you can see this one is in progress. That's the first one on this inspector's schedule. So the one we entered is the orange one. That's the one that you're interested in. And as I go through, you'll see that we'll see him moving. Let's see. So that's pretty much his live location. So he's at the site now, and you can see it just turned to in progress, and it turned to in progress here. So right when he clicked that, our app over here noticed that and actually moved. So this one's going to actually move up to 1. I don't think it did in the video, but. I did there. And then we also had Streetcut Inspectors. So they're the ones, so if, say, Google Fiber comes and cuts up the street, they have to fill that back in. So they have inspectors that come out and make sure they did a good job. And so they just needed a better solution. Their process was pulling the data from IRIS into an Access database and then just kind of going off a list from there. And that just wasn't working for them. Here's kind of what that looks like. So right now they have 167 inspections they have to go inspect. So Will Shoemaker is our engineering inspections coordinator, and this was his response on how Workforce is going for them. I just highlighted some of his key points here. It improved their efficiency. It used to take hours to pull reports and then organize them so that an efficient travel route could be planned. And now they can leave the office and maximize their time in the field. How much time do I have left? Okay. I am going to do a quick demo then. So here's Workforce. So you log in with your ArcGIS Online. Creating a project is really simple. I'll just do test Workforce. So right now it's just generating my project, generating all the feature layers it needs. And then you add some assignment types. So I'll just do inspection. And you could add as many as you want there. And then you give it some users. So this is going to give you every user in your ArcGIS Online. So I'll make myself a mobile worker. So you can see there's dispatchers, mobile workers. If you're the owner, you're a dispatcher. You can be a dispatcher and a mobile worker if you wanted to. And then here's where your app integration that Matt mentioned. So you can choose Navigator, Collector, Survey 1, 2, 3. For the street cuts, we integrated with Collector so that they could actually take a picture of the street cut inspection. Because many times they get there and the work's not done, so they need to take a picture of it and show it back to their supervisor. And down here, you can choose if you want to keep a history of their location. So now I'm going to open up one I created earlier. So here you can see I have three assignments assigned to me. So I will go to Assignments or Add Assignment. Choose your type. Right here, I just have one type. choose who you're going to assign it to. I'll assign it to myself. You could choose a due date, a time. I'm just not going to choose any of those. And then you can either put an address in or click on the map and create assignment. So now that is assigned to me. And I'm going to pull my iPhone here. So now I have 4 assignments on here. And so I will go to this first one here. And when the inspector gets there, they'll hit start. So now that changes the point on the map. It's kind of hard to see, but changes it to green, which means in progress, which actually you can see behind on the Chrome browser there. You can see it says in progress. So then I'll just put in some notes. Then I'll hit finish. So now you'll see that Workforce will refresh and it will be finished. And it actually comes off my list too. So one thing that the building inspectors need to do, they need to be able to order these so they could say, oh, I'm going to this one first, this one second, this one third. Inside Workforce, there's no way to do that unless the dispatchers change the due date, the due time. And so I created this little Ionic app here for them to use. It can work on their phones. It gives you a list. So they're all just defaulting to 7 p.m. right now, but I think we have them defaulting to 8 o'clock. So I can change this one to 11 o'clock a.m., 7 a.m. So you can see this is actually updating the due date in Workforce. So I'll make this Trawick Road one. I'll make it the first one. I'll make it 6 o'clock. Hopefully this is working. And I'll go back to my app and sort by due date. Well, I guess that's not working. I think because I didn't set the date in. Oh, no, actually, that did work. So I'll change this one to 6 o'clock. The first one was actually off my list. It may take a second to update. There you go. So now varsity's first. So now that kind of controls what the developers see when they put their address in. And it also gives them a view, so they can come in here and see where on the map they need to go, and we can even hook it up to Navigator to give them turn-by-turn navigation. And I believe that's all I have.
Okay, well, thank you, Justin, and thank you to all of our presenters today. And as promised, we have time for questions and answers, so we can go ahead and fire away if we have any. Don't be shy. Okay. All right, well, if we have no questions, again, thank you for your time and attendance, and enjoy the rest of the conference.